This is a TLDR tier list for next week's Mutation. This is based on solo play because your ally is a random factor that cannot be accounted for. Also, this is based on above average co-op knowledge. Mechanical skill is not that important in co-op. Adjust these rankings based on your own knowledge and skill level. Alright, so let's begin with Nova. Nova is pretty good here because she can deal with the missiles using Marines, or you can just seeker missile the nukes, and then leave the rest to SCVs to repair. The enemies aren't buffed, and Nova herself has detection, so she can pretty much be on the map alone. There are no environmental mutators either, so you could have like a few banshees to follow her or something like that. So overall, she's pretty strong. She has to pay attention to nukes a little bit. If you use Marines, I guess you don't have to pay so much attention, but you would need to go Bio. And I guess with the enemies not being stronger, if you go Bio, it might be okay, but it's a lot weaker than just going air. So yeah, Dahaka, he has to pay attention to the missiles. So missile command is something that he's not good against. However, some people overestimate like how difficult it is. In the beginning, it really sucks. You might lose some important buildings, which would really suck. But at least in the late game, the nukes aren't a problem anymore. So what you can do is you spread some Zerglings. You just burrow them in different corners of the map so you can kind of see where the nukes are coming from. And then you use your greater primal worms to take care of nukes in the future. Dahaka is so strong that he could pretty much take out all the enemies, and once he has detection, he doesn't really care about anything else. I would not use P2 here because the enemies aren't stronger, so it's good to have Dahaka in one place, and then you can summon a pack leader at home to defend against an attack wave if necessary. So I would suggest using P0 for this one. Abathur, his early game is bad because it's hard to farm if you can't see. So it's going to take you a while before you get Brutalist. But later on, once you get the ball rolling, he has Brutalist, which can deep tunnel and take care of any nuke. And he has a lot of minerals, so he can make a ton of spores just to tank damage. And he will defend with like Swarm Hosts as well. You can use Ravagers, and pretty much you just need like 3 Brutas and some Leviathans and maybe some Vipers, and that's all you need because the enemies aren't stronger. And against attack waves, you have Toxicness. You can even like deep tunnel Brutalist to the south and then like put a Toxicness and turn off autocast so that you can see if the attack wave spawns down there or not. So yeah, you can use P0 or P2. I suggest you get Brutalists because they will be your lifesavers against nukes. But you do have to pay attention to them, so not so great. Still pretty decent. Zeratul, super easy. You can trap the artifact, you mass cannons, mass shield guards, and Zeratul himself takes care of everything. Project cannons for defense, yada yada. Han and Horner is actually okay. So not great because the PDDs that come later will take out your strike fighters. Being a Terran means you do get to repair, which is really good. I think this one I fought against Protoss and not the usual classic infantry. So yeah, and I had 3 Galleons on the field with 2 Galleons at home, and I had hit squads of Reapers to fly whenever nukes came. So you do have to pay attention, so that's no good. The enemy comp matters, yes, but if you are good with your strike fighter and magmine usage, then not so bad. You do have to keep your ravens alive, so that's something else. And Calm the Fleet kind of sucks without assistance, so without detectors. So there is an argument for C here. I'm not sure which one's worse, but I do think that having 3 Galleons on the field means that the enemy comp doesn't matter too much. You will have enough firepower to take them out, and you can supplement with BCs later on to take care of any like heavy air, and you also have call downs. There's only 1 T6 wave, so you don't have to worry too much about air, like heavy air either. Phoenix, he is great because you just need the champs on the field. You can have carrier shells defending at home, and you can have like observers in different parts of the map to see where the nukes are coming from, then drop the Dragoon suit and just shoot it out the sky. So yeah, and then enemy comp doesn't matter too much. If you're fighting against air, of course, it'll suck a little more. You just make more scouts than usual. But yeah, you just pretty much attack with the champions and then leave the missile defense to the carrier shells. Even though they're weaker, they can still deal enough damage to those like 50 HP missiles. Karax, easy S. He can just ignore missiles for like the first 15 minutes. Then your monoliths and stuff will take care of everything. You spread observers everywhere, see where they come from, solar lance all the waves. Missile command is not a problem at all, so very easy. Vorazun, you do need a ton of Corsairs patrolling at each base to keep yourself safe against the missiles. After that, you need an army, so your armies can be anything. Just don't attack up a hill until you have time stop so that you can take out all the detectors. And yeah, so enemy comp matters a little bit, but you're going to be making Corsairs anyways. So even if you're fighting against air, like even if you're fighting against air comps, you can just make more Corsairs than you usually do and be ready to black hole them or something. Swann, defense commander, super good. You can repair, you have enough missile turrets to take care of all the PDDs and stuff. If you use P0, you can use concentrated beam on the guys guarding the crystals, and after you use enough of them to clear some encampments. Pulse cannon is better for clearing encampments, and then concentrated beam clears the enemies guarding crystals, and then you can like herc over. You can also use science vessels to see. I recommend not using P2 because you do need vessels, and I suggest that you stay on one base, but if you're feeling brave, you can try two bases. He should have no problem with two bases. I don't think you really need a second base though. Alarak is similar to Vorazun. You need enough destroyers patrolling and havocs to spot for the destroyers. Luckily, the havocs are not buildings, so they won't be targeted by the missiles. And then Alarak mothership plus a few supplicants and destroyers should be enough to go out and kill like whatever enemies are on the map. So yeah, A here. Manx is another defense commander, so he has hit scan towers. He can stop the nukes easily. Then he can ESO the map. You can just surround your ESOs with a few bunkers as well to defend them against the nukes, and then you flatten all the enemies guarding crystals. If there are some air enemies, you just march in a small army to clean up the rest. You can even drop a bunker to pick up the crystals without having to walk there. So yeah, very good. Kerrigan is pretty good. She does have to care about missiles. So if you're using non-P1, you do have Omega Worms, and you do have to work or like move around a lot to stop the missiles if you see them. If you're using P1, you don't have to do that, but enemy comp matters a lot. So I don't recommend using P1 because if you're fighting air, then you're kind of screwed. If you're fighting against, if you're using P0, P2, or P3, you can make an army of Mutalisks or something, and then you just be ready to take out the missiles with Kerrigan, and then spend all your minerals on spore crawlers and or queens. Stetmann, similar boat here. He has to pay attention to the nukes. His best weapon against nukes is the Mecha Battle Carrier Lord, whatever. And then that guy can Yamato the nukes. So Yamato the nukes before they get close. And then Super Gary by himself can clear all the enemies on the map and the whole map. So you spend like all your money defending, and then you use Super Gary to push. I also suggest, using some Banelings in case you're out of position, but with Super Gary's teleport, I don't think that would matter too much. Tychus, I initially put him here, but I realized that the enemies are not stronger. So you can actually one base this because the enemies aren't stronger. You just make auto turrets, and then Tychus and Sam at home, and then you have Sirius on the field throwing turrets and killing all the things that the turrets see. You can also have Nux and Vega on the field to stop attack waves and also steal things. So those three guys with detection can stop everything. And then your money will be spent on turrets at home, and Tychus can also stop like whatever nukes come their way, so no problem. Raynor, we move unseen means that you'll have a terrible experience. Like, you don't get a free expo either, so you have to spend scan money getting your expo, and then you have to also scan to push. And if you don't push hard enough and you lose your army, you're kind of screwed. If you're fighting an unfavorable comp, you're kind of screwed. Even against a favorable comp, you need to micro and macro well. The good thing about Raynor is that he doesn't have to care about missiles. That's the only thing. So that's why he's not lower. But like going on offense is just such a pain because of we move unseen. And you don't even get to expo quickly to get more money. So it's pretty terrible experience. Zagara is worse though, because even against an easy comp, the nuke's gonna be problematic. You can hold position your scourges and then target them, but like if you're not good at this, if you're not paying attention, it's like they're gonna nuke you and you're gonna lose a lot of stuff. If you let your scourge run loose, they're gonna hit random missiles and waste your resources. You can use bio launchers, but bio launchers get hit by missiles and they will eventually die. And you can't always aim correctly with the bio launchers, like the attack hitting the weird nuke hitbox. So it's not very great. And also everything's invisible, so you have to keep your overseers alive, which they might die to like missile turrets and stuff, like, and like air-to-air units as well. They might just take them out. You're mostly using Zagara plus overseers on the field. You can like roll a bunch of Banes to help out, but that's about it. And yeah, a lot of gas will be spent on Scourge, and you also have to micro them, which is a pain. Stukov is really good because you can use P1, you can use P3. As long as you have detection, the infested will auto kill whatever turrets. I recommend P1 actually, because you can put bunkers at like around your base and then siege some overseers. They will see all the missiles and they'll shoot down everything. Then your diamondbacks with a queen or overseer will just like see and kill everything else. They will do a great job. And add tanks if you're fighting against ground or when you're sieging bases. Artanis, also terrible. Against an easy comp, he still struggles because he's gonna keep getting nuked. He has no good missile command defense. I just beat this mutation with him this time around, and you need like 4 Archons to stop the splitter missiles, and maybe not even then. And you don't get to expand early, so yeah, you don't get that much gas. Plus, you need to spend gas on observers, so that's a pain as well. Your offense, if you're fighting anything that has air, well, good luck, because you're going to be spending a lot of gas on unnecessary things. You need to spend your gas on defense, and you can't spend it on unnecessary things. Using lots of zealots, your spare minerals, and then shield overcharge is your best way to like kill all the ground units. But if there's air, then yeah, sucks. So don't use him. That's it for this tier list. You can extrapolate this info to your duel runs. Good luck with the mutation.